Day 12 of Denver Broncos Training Camp in the books. We're here at the Mile High Sports Studio. I'm Cody Rourke, joined alongside by Zach Seegers. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about here today to open things up, obviously the breaking news of the day outside of just practice, the Broncos have a brand new ownership group in play now. The Walton Penner Group received unanimous votes according to the reports there, and now they will officially take over the Denver Broncos. They are now the controlling owner and CEO and president of the Broncos. Joe Ellis stepping down, but stepping into an advisor role here for this year at the least there. So, hey, some big news here to start off the day. But then, there was some football that was going on, Zach. The Broncos back on the practice field, a scorching day, fully padded practice, another high-intensity day for them here today. And there's a lot of things that we got to pull out in this, next couple of minutes. There was a lot of great action, some highs and lows for the offense and the defense. But collectively, it was a good overall practice. What were your thoughts on the day, Zach?
Yeah, I think a few position groups stood out, but one that really stood out to me was the wide receiver group. Courtland Sutton dealing with a shoulder issue, should be back soon, but wasn't out there today. Was out there, but didn't practice. And you saw Kendall Hinton step up. You saw Brandon Johnson step up, playing alongside Jerry Jeudy there. And then you saw your guy Seth Williams also step up, have a terrific day of practice. I feel like today was a critical day in that wide receiver battle, and some players really separated themselves from the pack.
Well, and even for the offense, too, you mentioned Courtland Sutton not involved as much today. Did come out initially and then worked off on the side field and just trying to stay as fresh as possible. Saw him running a lot of, sprinters, across back and forth on the field there. But for the offense, you mentioned Kendall Hinton. He redeemed himself during the 2-minute period, caught a pass from Russell Wilson across the middle of the field, and it moved the chains during the right before halftime type of simulation. And then outside of that, like going back some of the other team stuff, moved the ball period, Russell Wilson found Jerry Jeudy for a deep touchdown towards the end of practice. But early on, he looked for Jerry Jeudy down deep on the right side. Michael Ojemudia comes up with an interception. OJ obviously filling in for Ronald Darby, who's dealing with a chest contusion. Should be back at some point here, but I imagine it'll be a week or so before we see him. Probably next week when the Broncos get back into kind of their in-season practice routine, not necessarily what we've seen here at training camp, because training camp is over on Thursday. Outside of that, there was a narrative that was going on that Russell Wilson has been underwhelming so far. And obviously, we've been at practice for all 12 days. Russ has done a really good job of taking command of the offense. I mean, how many times have we seen a ball on the ground at practice? I haven't seen many from Russ since he's taken command under the quarterback position.
Yeah, it's been terrific. He's done a great job. I think it's been very different from what we've seen in the past. You see his legs also being a weapon frequently. Has done a terrific job utilizing all his different receivers. I will say, though, today, the cornerbacks and the defensive line both stepped up in a big way. Michael Ojemudia, of course. But with Darby being out, everyone had to move up a spot. That included 7th-round pick Faion Hicks, who, when I did my 53-man roster prediction, I didn't expect him to make the roster. If he keeps putting together days like today, he's going to make the roster with lights out. And Damari Mathis, who has already been a star at camp, he was terrific again today.
We had some fun trash talk. We're not going to tell you the contents of the trash talk amongst the players, but it was just funny to hear. Could you imagine just being in that DB room each day? Like the officials that are out there making some bad calls, they're getting roasted by the players and the coaches. But outside of that, just like the trash talk between the offense and the defense, between Jerry Jeudy and some other guys, was hilarious. You love to see that. But it's almost like you're at this point at training camp where it's like, all right, we've been doing this for the last 2 weeks, and we just don't get a break from each other. So it was fun banter, some competitive trash talk as well.
Sorry, it's been so competitive with Hackett. Yeah. It's head-to-head all the time. So I think it's understandable that it's getting a little chippy towards the end here. And I have to say, Jerry Jeudy's a funny man. He is a funny guy. He was cracking up, I think, most of the media there with his trash talk.
Oh, it was good stuff there, Broncos country. But you know what? Day 13 of training camp practice. It zooms tomorrow at the UC Health Training Center. It's going to be a jog through. And then guess what? Thursday, who comes to town? The Dallas Cowboys. We can't wait to see some of that competition. Zach Seegers, myself, we've been there every single day for practice, unlike some other people that are pumping out some narratives there, but we're going to continue to bring you good coverage here at Mile High Sports. All things Denver Broncos. Check out our written content at milehighsports.com and hit that subscribe button.